Hello, and welcome to the Motor House. For another episode, this is not focusing on the 7 restoration. There's plenty of other things that have to get done while that's going on too. Waiting for weather to cooperate so I can do some painting. Time to dust off the winter cobwebs and get the other cars ready for springtime. So it's a nice spring day, and many of these cars just need, basic go through, check fluids, make sure everything's fine, test them out. There's upcoming stuff to do to the M100. But the Elite, it's time to focus on the Elite. That is what I'm doing today. And, their carburetors used to be there. Now they're on the bench. So let's go to the bench. The messy bench. Sorry about that, guys. But it's time to get work done, which means, yes, make messes sometimes. Okay, carbs apart. Why? That's usually, I guess everybody says why. Yes, it was running well, but there was an issue. And the jet tube, that's all the way down in the bottom there. One of the two, I can't remember the front or the back carb, was worn. And it was worn a lot larger than the other one, which really throws off the running. And you can try to adjust your way out of it, but if it's worn, it's still wearing. So, time to fix it. Long ago, in Strombergs, if you're familiar at all with the old Strombergs, they used to have an adjustable jet tube from the bottom. And then let's just say, it's threaded in there for it. It's threaded, and it came out that hole on the bottom, and they just put a fixed jet in and stuck a plug in the hole. So to adjust them, you had to go up in the top and adjust the needle that way, which you didn't have to do originally. Yes, this is nice, but there can be problems adjusting needles. So, and the original adjusting jet tube you could do with the carb intact, even running. You didn't even have to take anything apart. So they're making them back as kits. Let's go over here, which is basically this. Let's get my hand out of the way. All right, come on, focus. Yes, this screws up into where I showed. This is the tube. Let's see. Take it apart a little bit more. Okay. All right. So that goes in. You just knock out that existing tube, put this in its place, and then you can make adjustments from outside the carburetor, from underneath, without having problems. We'll say. I hope to have problems. But since I needed to change out the tube anyway, I am upgrading, or we'll say reversing to older technology on these carbs to, let's say, improve what they did. Fixed versus adjustable. Now there are videos already out there on YouTube of installing these, and we'll say if there are any problems centering them. I saw a great one. That's how I'm doing this, following a lot of what their tips and tricks said. You can look them up. But this is just kind of what I'm doing in the motor house right now. And after I've done these, I'm going to then take the Stromberg carburetors for the 7, because that's next. The engine is at Quicksilver, and I need to get the carburetors cleaned up, rebuilt, and ready for when they're ready for them. That sounds okay. Going over some things I've learned working on these carbs. Now, I did take my micrometer before I took either one of these apart, and I measured how far down this, they'll say the center point there, was recessed into that hole. And they were different from each one. Yeah, there was a radical difference between both of them. The front carb, and this is in inches, so on my micrometer, would be 0.111, and the back one was 0.085. So that was a substantial amount. And I did take the micrometer and kind of look at, let's see if I can get it to focus, and it's to see, you can see the point where they were in the bottom, and I could measure differences in those two, yeah, as to how far they receded, which is not good. That also explains some of the problems, you know, maybe and when they were adjusted, they worked after they were adjusted, but what did it take to adjust them into? Now this needle, if you notice, is standing proud, which is above. It's not flush, it's standing proud. And the needle that's in this other one is recessed, which kind of goes along with these jet tubes being at different heights. So I'm going to set both needles flush and set up the these tubes flush with the bridge, which is what the instructions tell you to do. So then we'll go from there. But I'm just kind of resetting these. And I would say I never thought to really check to see if the tubes were at the same height. You just adjust the carbs and adjust 1 and 2 versus 3 and 4 on the cylinders. Excuse me. To run as they are. But this is what I have discovered on mine. And I know for everybody over in the European countries who don't have Strombergs on these cars, you've got Lotus, or maybe Webers you put on, but Lotus, and they adjust completely differently and run. I think they run better from everything I've been told, but I've never had a car with them. Basically, everything I got on this end is Stromberg. So, well, adjusting the needles to be at the flush height was a little more difficult than we'll say it should be. And I think that's normal on these old cars, but could not get the adjuster, which is basically, if you don't know about these, there's a 1/8" Allen. You basically put an 1/8" Allen in there, and there's a screw, and as you turn the screw, this will rise and lower, and there's a little set pin that goes in the side, and if you're supposed to just be able to loosen it a little bit, and then as you turn it, it won't rotate, it'll just go up and down. That's the thing. But this stuff, these old cars, they tend to be frozen up in there, and yep, it's so what I've already done on the other carburetor is the set screws in there. It's held in with the star washer, so you can take a drift and easily, and I mean very gently, drift it out the bottom, and then you got to clean everything up. There's a little rubber seal O-ring, maybe not O-ring because it's pretty flat when you look at it. That little screw has a ring, rubber ring around it to keep everything sealed in there. But dirt, debris, everything gets down in this tube, and that is what gums up the works. And maybe that's the best way to put it, gums up the works. So let me get that out because I need both hands, and I'll show you what it is. This is that little screw in there. Well, I don't remember the official term, but anyway, it's covered. Let's see if I can get it here. I don't want to drop it or lose it. It's covered in grease, and I'll separate that little star, and there's the threads that thread into the jet, the needle, I should say. Let me break them apart with a little cleaner and show you a little better. Okay, here's a little retaining washer, and it is cupped one way versus the other. You got to put it back in correctly, You can see all the grease and dirt. There's just some of the grease and dirt that I got out of there. And there's the Allen. There's that little rubber ring around it, sealing ring. And what I have found is the reason you can't get your Allen key to go in and you end up just gnawing the hole apart trying to get it is it fills up with dirt and grime, so it can't get into it. And it should, if you clean it out, which I've done. Let me see if I can do this one-handedly. Sorry, it's one-handed. But it goes deep into it, and that's how you get, let's say, enough to turn it. So 2 days ago, when I finished putting the carbs together on the bench and was pretty much saying in a video, and of course I've edited that out because this is where it's picking up. So 2 days ago, I said, hey, I've got the carbs back together. I'm going to put them on the car, and everything should be good, and I'll get to tuning them in later, because why should I putting them back on the carb? Well, things happen. Okay. It's typical. Things happen. So, talking with the guy who I think he makes the kits, these adjustables, I asked him a simple question. The instructions said to set the top of the jet flush with the bridge. And I said, is that really what we're supposed to do? He says, no. Set them down further. We didn't have that in the instructions. It was an afterthought. And you need to set them down further in order to get it to fire off, because it'll be a very lean mixture, like no fuel. Okay. So he suggested an 1/8 of an inch, dropping them from the bridge. And I remember I had 0.111 of an inch was the lowest one I had. And I was like, well, and 0.25 is a lot. It's double that. So let me go back to like 0.1. What did I do? 0.114, 0.115, somewhere about there is where I set them to. Just because I thought that's a good starting point. It's close to where I had them, and maybe that's really what I want to do. So of course it means take the carbs back apart and do all the adjustments as such. And I can recommend, I tried with a regular micrometer, but unless you keep the micrometer totally, perfectly straight up and down, it gets funky readings. So I used my drop gauge, basically. And I made sure that the bridge was the same height in both of them. And then I could measure the depth of that, the tube, and set them the same on both sides. So that's how I did that. Why is this all still back apart? Well, I got to put it back together yet. But I did. I set them the same to start off with. I thought that's pretty good. But then I ran into another issue, and I don't know who might run into this issue. This is one of the aftermarket high torque starters. It's clockable. It goes in. It works here because the original ones just they don't last. You know, they think the age. Now the problem I had is I've already done all the work, so I'm just going to tell you about what happened. Let's see if I can get the right view here. Okay, see the bottom of the adjuster? This was over here, and the two were touching. That's the problem. It was just this edge here, but it was, if I tried to richen the mixture anymore, it is binding up against this. So, of course, one job on the Lotus always turns into 2 or 3. That's the way it goes. So I took the starter back out, and of course I said the front adapter plate is clockable to turn this thing one way or the other. The next hole to turn it was too far away, way too far away. So I ended up laying out a new set of holes with calipers, drilled them, and I clocked it over just a little, which a little on that is a lot here, and then hooked everything back up. So that's how that worked out. I was told that if you do these on like in a lawn, the pedal box, top of the pedal box is in the way, and you'll have to make a hole in it if you want to use them and adjust them, because they hit the pedal box. So they're not recommended in lawns, the older lawns. But okay, so I will get this all back together. I just thought it was notable to go over the problems and the solutions I was having to get to this point. And of course, let's see, hopefully tomorrow, depending on how time goes, I'll, because it's late at night right now, I'll finish button up the carbs and make sure there's no leaks, and we'll see about starting this thing. Just when you think you are done, yeah, well, this is, you know the story. Okay, that's a typical story for a lot of cars and projects, but I was, after putting them together, I thought I was done. Thought I was ending. Then I ended up with finding an issue I didn't like. Actually, it was on both carbs. Well, the back carb was worse. All right, what I'm going to do is raise. I don't know how well this is going to pick up, but I'm going to raise this all the way up and listen to the delay. If I only halfway up, it's nice and quick. But if I take it all the way up, it's a big delay. So I don't like that. What I found, oh, well, screws are in. Hold on a second. All right, time to get back to it. What I did find is that I believe these rubber diaphragm and this, I mean, the difference in a new one and this, it is stiff. It's getting very stiff. And I think that's the issue, is that it's not allowing for that smooth motion. So they really do need to be changed. Okay. Going over to the bench. All right. What I was doing, well, let's finish up that. Thanks to RD Enterprises, I've got new ones here. So I'll switch them over. But I did find on the back carb, there was another issue. It was hanging up more than what I thought the the diaphragm was causing. And I did work it. What I did find was I found a small line appearing that, I'm sorry if I'm shaking. That's just my hand. I'm sorry. I'll switch hands here. I did find a small line. I've since cleaned it up. And I think that's what was causing some of the grief of this hanging up more than what I think the diaphragm was allowing it on top of the diaphragm. I think it was a combo event. Let's call it that. Combo event. So, because I did tap out the retaining screw inside this tube, I wondered if I was against wood, but did I cause an issue here at the lip? So I cleaned the lip up, and I cleaned the barrel up around here with some Scotch-Brite, and that seems to be good. Now it's time to just change out the diaphragms, and hopefully that will end what that needs to be finished. I've got a new diaphragm on the back rear carb. Let's see if I can hold my phone straight enough. All the way up. That's a nice fast, and you can hear it. That delay is that delay was the diaphragm. So, if you're having an issue with yours, check in the diaphragms. So, now, hopefully, I can end this video. Because I felt I needed to add this part, as it was an issue that needed to be resolved. Okay, thanks for watching.